Hi, in this video you'll see an update of my giant pumpkin Astrid. You'll see, give you an update on Dolores, how she did at the weigh off, and then I'll go through a project that I've been working on this week. Unrelated to pumpkins, but some interesting to some of you. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an update on Dolores. So this is my 1931 Turner. This is where she was sitting. Hopefully you can see this okay. I tried filming yesterday in different lighting and it was way too windy, and the quality of the audio was really bad. So I'm refilming this just so it's easier to hear. But I'm gonna hopefully put clips of Dolores being picked, and I'm not sure about of her at the weigh off, but so this is where Dolores sat on that plywood. Her plant went through here. She was all filled out here, but I had to remove all this plant to drive in. So we drove in through this way, basically right through there to get her picked. And I wasn't sure how I was gonna do it at first, but I actually had where two of the fence pieces joined right here. So I took these little wires off that I had put on there to hold it, peeled the fence back. So I removed, I think maybe that post, this post, and the one over here, and peeled the fence back over this way so we could drive in. So I had the pumpkin all ready. I had Dolores, basically I had the plant cleared out. I had the lifting ring sitting on top, the straps ran. And so my uncle, when he showed up with the skid steer, he was able to drive in. We hooked the chain up to the top of the lifting ring and then picked her up enough to get her on a pallet, set her on the pallet, and then took the forks in the pallet and got her out of the patch onto a trailer. So hopefully I'll show a lot of that on this video. But I just want to give you an update on her. I'll flip you around and talk to you about how she did. Okay, so Dolores, when I took her to the weigh off, the River Prairie Ginormous Pumpkin Festival, she was estimated at 1,405 pounds. So they took measurements. I've explained in other videos, but they took measurements. They do a circumference measurement around the widest part, basically level to the ground. Took the circumference measurement and then over the top from stem to blossom and then side to side. And then add all those up and you can get an estimated weight. She estimated at 1,405 pounds. She actually weighed 1,544. So she's either thick inside, so she's either has thick walls, or it's just really dense walls. So I won't know. She went from the weigh off to a zoo for their Halloween event. So I won't actually know what she looks like inside, but she did go heavy to chart. She took third place at that pumpkin weigh off. Not what I was expecting. When I showed up, I was really hoping just to get in the top 10. It's really hard, like when you see the pumpkins at the weigh off, it seemed like there was a lot. I know there's a couple really big ones, but then it seemed like a lot were similar size. So I thought I was gonna be lucky if I got in the top 10, and somehow I made it to third place. So that's actually the highest I've ever placed at any weigh off. Last year I took a pumpkin to that same festival. It weighed 18, that was Snow White. It weighed 1814 and took 7th place. So every year is completely different. And 2 years ago I took one to another weigh off that was 1970 and a half. That was my biggest ever. And that one took 9th place. So every year is different, every weigh off's different. But I'll flip you around and show you Astrid now. So it is Friday, October 10th. It's an exciting day because Astrid here is getting harvested today, picked today for a weigh off tomorrow. So Astrid will be out of the patch, and this is my last pumpkin in the patch. So this is her last day. I don't know if you're noticing the leaves here. I know there's a lot of weeds on this side. This is the old part of the plant. I'll take you around to the better part of the plant. not good, but it's better. But if you notice, the leaves are just fried. These have been dead for a while here, but not to this point. And now you can really see the weeds. But we had temperatures 2 mornings ago that were, I think it sat at 30 degrees for about 3 hours. So like the plant completely frosted over. I wish I would have got video clips of that, but the plant completely frosted over and it all died off. I'll take you around to the other side. I'll uncover her, and then I'll talk through it a little bit more. So hopefully the sun's not too bad, but we're gonna walk in on this side. You can see her plant here. There are some leaves that are still a little green down. If you look down there, I think it's mainly because the frost settled on the top ones and the ones down below are a little protected. But we're walking over to, I probably don't need to walk on these boards because we're gonna be driving through here with the skid steer today. But this is Astrid's stem side. So this is my 1970.5 Turner. If I didn't say that, I think I told you it's Friday, October 10th. But this is Astrid, and I'll get her covered, or I'll get her uncovered better here, and go around to the other side where the sun's not as bad. Just wanted to show you the stem side, and then I'll go around to the other side and get her fully uncovered and talk more. Okay, I got Astrid uncovered, and now you can see this was my really nice part of my plant. If you can see how dark green these leaves are, this is from the frost. So here's what I normally do. If I would have had another couple weeks before, or a week or two before the weigh off, I would have been out here spraying the leaves in the really cold part of the morning. I'd have been spraying them with warm water just to keep the frost from setting in and killing off my plant. But since I only had 2 days to go, I figured it was fine to let the plant frost over and die. And I still think, I mean, it wasn't gaining that, the pumpkin wasn't gaining that much, but I still think the roots in the ground are still probably feeding it some. It's just probably not pushing it as much, but at this point in the season, I wasn't too worried about that. So this is Astrid, as I mentioned from the other angles, but she is, oh gosh, I think she's 107 days old today. I have to look. I was supposed to measure, I usually measure every 5 days. I did not measure at 105 days, or whatever it was 2 days ago. But she, at the last measurement, actually, let me check my notes to see how old she was at my last measurement. So that was correct. She is 107 days old today. At day 100, so 7 days ago, she was estimated, based on my measurements, which are getting really tough to do by myself. I do take painter's tape and tape the tape measure around her. But I had her at 1953, so 1,953 pounds based on my measurements at day 100. So I have not taken measurements. I'll either do it before I get her on the pallet or I'll do it after I get her on the pallet. But so this is Astrid, and I will show you a couple things on the other side if the shadows aren't too bad. Okay, now I'm on this side. I'm standing back here because if I stand where I want to on these boards, my shadow will block what I'm trying to show you. So I'm actually standing on the soil, which typically don't do during the season. So it's kind of weird because if you've been following along, we walk on these walking boards to not compact the soil and make it so the roots can move easier throughout the soil and don't get packed down and harder for it to take up nutrients and harder for them to spread out. So I'm actually standing on the soil just so I can show you this. And so these are growth cracks that have been forming over the last week or two. They are, whoops, my knee's kind of in the way there. They are kind of all over the place on this one, but nothing at this point to worry about. Those are normal. I hope that means she's packing a lot of weight internally right now. And then if I come over here, hopefully I can figure out a good way to show you this. I can't get a good angle of this, but those are, maybe I can do it back here. Those are my cat tracks. Our cat basically kept climbing on the pumpkin, and she was, you're gonna see my camera, whatever, because I want to show you this. And so she was up top the pumpkin. I went over by her. This is probably a month or so ago. I went over by her, and she thought I was gonna pet her belly, so she rolled and she fell off. And she made these marks here as she was falling down. So she was trying to grab on, and she fell and grabbed my pumpkin. And then she has marks up here as well. And that's from, I think, her climbing up. She likes to she over and over kept climbing up on this pumpkin and grabbing the pumpkin, and made some really deep marks here. If you can tell right here, these are her claws. So all over the place, she's made marks. Luckily, they have healed up. But yeah, so if you have a cat, I'm sure she caught some mice out here. But if you have a cat that likes to keep climbing on your pumpkin, hopefully your pumpkin's healthy enough to heal it up like this one was. But I'm gonna show you another thing on where the plan is for getting her out of here. So this won't make it on this video because I'll hopefully get this out here soon. But I'm gonna pick her today, and my current plan is, it looks like my fence, I don't even know where that is anymore, but oh, right here. It looks like my fence, two pieces joined here. So I'm gonna take this apart, peel it back this way, and remove a couple of these posts. And then we'll drive in here, because this is, I'm just gonna have to move like this plywood, this pumpkin, the plywood, the vine. And there won't be a lot of plant from Astrid that I actually have to remove. We're gonna drive in and grab her probably from this side, pick her up, basically get her straight up, put her on a pallet, pull the pallet out, and then back it out and maybe pivot in there so we don't tear up the ground too bad. Or we'll pivot back here, but then we'll get her on the truck over here. Yeah, so that is the current plan. Okay, I'm walking over to show you the project that I've been working on that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. But it is over here. I'm walking towards our horse barn. If you can see the fence post there, I am in the, I guess the dry lot area is what this would be. But I'll flip you around. Actually, no, I'll just probably just turn here. You can probably see it behind me, and then maybe I'll flip you around. But when I tried to film this yesterday, this was open, but we trenched in water lines. So I think we went about 7 feet deep with the water lines. So we have a water, I don't know if you can see it back there. There's a white pipe back there, but we have a water that kind of is going to go between our pasture, which is that hayfield back there, and this dry lot area. I don't know. I call it pasture because I grew up with dairy cattle. I think horse people call them a paddock, but either way, it's a pasture to me. And then the dry lot. So we have a water that will go between them. And then I'll flip you around and show you real quick kind of what we are doing in the horse barn. Okay, so I'm just going to show you real quick in here. All this water, all these water lines and electrical conduit, that was all laid this last few days. We made a big mess while we were doing it, because if you see over there, when this pad was built up for the shed or barn, there's a lot of sand used to build it up. So when we were digging all these lines 6-7 feet deep, yeah, basically it kept kind of caving in, so we had to make bigger holes than we originally planned. Luckily outside where we trenched those in, that was really hard clay. So we had a nice trench that went like 7 feet deep, and it did not cave in at all. So that one was really clean to get out there. But in here, it's kind of a mess. We got to finish backfilling after we get the water lines and the electrical set where they're going to go in the tack room. So that is, which is, I guess I could show you over here instead of just talking about it, but tack room's going to go over here somewhere. Well, actually, I know where it's going to go, but it's hard to tell on camera. But so this will be like one edge of it, and the electrical will be on the other edge. That's a future project, probably next spring. But I'll take you over as I'm talking here and show you the chickens because I don't know if they were out here before. I had a couple roosters, or we had a few roosters out here, but the chickens have all been moved out here. And this week they first laid their first eggs. So we've had 3 eggs so far, but they seem to like it out here. Okay, so I would like to just take this fence down and just let them go wherever. The problem is when we had the roosters out in this run and we opened it, they would end up in the woods here. So this woods is our neighbors, and they end up, I think the roosters, I could hear them down by our neighbor's house. So right now I'm gonna keep this fence up. I don't want whatever we have, like 20 chickens, maybe 22 chickens. One of the Silkies is making a lot of noise, but I don't want all these chickens down at our neighbor's house bothering him. So they stay on this fence for now. So that's an update on the chickens. I still have work to do on the coop, if you can't tell. So I've had questions about seeds. I do have some seeds for sale on my link in bio page if you want to check that out. If you're interested, I have seeds from my 1931 Turner and my 1970 and a half Turner, which both of those are the 2 I grew this year. One's the one I grew Astrid with, and one's the one I grew Dolores with. So if you have any interest in that, check that out. But that is where this video is going to wrap up. Please let me know if you have any comments. I do like to see what you have to say or any questions you have. And I will continue putting out some videos. I have some ideas of some stuff I want to do now that the season's wrapping up. So thanks for watching.